whatever path you are on, whatever inspired you to come here today, we honor you and we welcome you. And now, our message.
So, it's such a great honor to introduce our special guest speaker today. I had the great fortune of meeting Reverend FELICIA SEARCY at the Big Sky Retreat last September in Big Sky, Montana. And I encourage those of you that haven't been to the Big Sky Retreat to join me this year, to join us this year, as there'll be some amazing speakers. Mary Morrissey will be there. Gene Houston will be there. Karen Drucker will be there, the great musician, along with Michael God. So join us. If you want to be spiritually transformed to the next level and want to get away with 100 plus people of like mind, it's an amazing opportunity. So anyway, back to now. I met Felicia at the conference, and I made the bold step of asking her to assist me with my personal growth and development, and she agreed to be my coach. So we've partnered up over the last 7 months, and I must say she has helped me to face some of my biggest fears, has pushed me to move beyond those, and to embrace a bigger paradigm. She's an amazing teacher, speaker, and author. So I'm going to read her bio so I don't forget anything. Reverend Felicia pioneered and served unity of Murfreesboro, Tennessee for 15 years as senior minister. She now travels around the country as speaker, trainer, and award-winning transformational life coach, sharing a 5-step formula that she has used personally to grow and impact her business 800% in 3 years. Yeah, 800. Felicia has helped thousands of people create lives that they love by sharing this same simple but powerful formula. Felicia has shared the stage with internationally known speakers such as Mary Morrissey and Dr. Paula Fellingham. She is also a writer and author of Do Great Things, Following in Jesus' Footsteps, published by Unity House. Felicia believes that it's possible for anyone to live the life of their dreams, and now lives a rich and abundant life in Thousand Oaks, California, with her husband, Michael, of 26 years. So please, would you stand up and welcome my coach, Reverend Felicia.
Good morning.
Hi.
You guys are incredible. Now, how do I know that? Because you have an incredible minister and you have a phenomenal leadership team. That would not be possible if you were not vibrating at a level that was a match for who you are. So I'm going to take a moment and really honor your leadership team, your minister and your leadership team, because they spent an entire day yesterday leaning in deeply into the question, what would they love for the ministry? And then anytime you ask that question, you activate everything unlike it that has kept you right where you are, right? We're going to go much deeper into that this morning and this afternoon. And I watched this incredible group of people as they systematically got clear about what is it that they would love and stared down all of the old paradigms and voices that have kept them in this small container of believing, and made decisions for actions to back those decisions up. And it's going to be amazing to watch the energy that gets unleashed as this group continues in this momentum and this level of new growth and awareness. what's going to happen for you all personally and happen for the community as a whole. So if you were there yesterday, if you would be willing to stand up and allow your community to honor your level of commitment and dedication to your own personal growth and to the community. I know Pam's coming this afternoon and Lyle was not able to be there. And who else was there yesterday?
Shannon.
And Shannon's back in there, yeah, serving the kids, so.
Alex.
And Alex.
And Alex, yeah, Shannon and Alex, okay. So,
And Dr. Pam.
And Dr. Pam.
Pam will be here this afternoon.
That's
Yeah, so, amazing experience. So, I got a flash for you. You have 100% capacity to create anything that you desire. I'm going to say that again, and particularly for those of you like me who've been around for a while, I'm going to encourage you to hear that as if it is the first time that you have ever heard that. You have 100% capacity to create anything that you desire. Now, here's the thing. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to use that power in such a way that you are creating what it is that you want, right? Just because we have the power doesn't mean that we use it. But when you understand, number one, you understand that truly we have been given the most potent power in the universe. There is no power more potent than our capacity to literally create at will. When we dedicate ourselves to learning that, understanding it, and then learning and applying a system, a very specific system, that as we consistently apply it and make decisions for what it is that we want. First of all, we get clear about what is it that we want. You get clear about what is it that you want. You learn how to make a real decision for that, and you systematically apply a structure, a system, a thinking technology. Persistently and consistently, you will find yourself waking up saying, oh my God, I love my life.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you love that?
Yes.
Because the thing about it is that's what's meant for all of us. So my intention for us this morning and going much deeper into this afternoon is, number one, to help you get clear about what is it that you really want. To understand that it's a skill to really listen deeply to what it is that you really want. And to begin to get clear pictures around that. To introduce you to a very simple, specific formula that, again, understood and applied consistently, will allow you then to live that life, to help you make a decision for it. Just because you dream it up doesn't mean that you've decided for it. And most people really don't know how to make a real decision. You think you're making a decision, but I want to blow that out of the water today to help you understand what a real decision is, and then to identify the action steps that back up and confirm and affirm your decision. So by the time you leave here this afternoon at 4 o'clock, you have a clear picture, you have a formula in hand, you've made a decision, and you've got an action step that you're ready to go forward with. And that as you do this, you understand that truly you will be living a life that you love. Y'all ready for that?
Yes.
Okay. Because here's the thing. You were created to thrive. Thriving is your natural state. When you think about it, it just makes sense that there was this power that had to expand and extend itself because it so loved the world that it didn't know what else to do but to recreate itself. And it tells us in Genesis, in the Jewish tradition, that God, Spirit, Law, looked upon the void, that there was an emptiness. And so I'm going to play around with God a little bit. We're going to have a little fun with God right now. And, you know, God, in its infinite wisdom, looked upon the void and realized there's something missing. There's something not quite right here. And so God pondered and thought, okay, what is it that would fill this void? And God literally started giggling with delight at the idea that then generated from this creative energy, from this creative process. and said, I know what will fill the void. And God said, let there be Lacey. And let there be Kimmy. And let there be Ruby. And let there be Kelly and Beth. And let there be you. And then the Spirit took all of its creative energy, all of its creative force, and it poured itself into creating something as magnificent and individual as you. I mean, think about it. When you think about the body temple alone, the beauty, the elegance, the sophistication, that we as a species have not been able to replicate this. I mean, just the incredible magnitude of our body temple alone as evidence of this incredible power that so loved that it had to replicate itself. And it did it in the form of us. Now, imagine that power pouring all of its energy, all of its creative force, all of its beauty and glory, and creating something as magnificent as you, and then saying, go, Lacey, have a mediocre life. Right? Of course not. This power doesn't even say, go, have a good life. Here's what this power says. This power says, go, have a life that bears witness to the glory that is breathing you. Now, I know I'm in Utah, but I preached in the South for 15 years, and I did preach. And we always had an amen corner. Do I dare ask for an amen corner in Utah? Because think about it. How else? How could it be any other way? That we were bestowed and equipped and sourced and resourced with everything that we could possibly need to create this life that bears witness to the power that breathed us into existence. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Let that land. Let it land at a level that you probably have never considered before. Because I don't know about you, but when I think about that, it absolutely takes my breath away. It takes my breath away. That we were so loved into existence and that we were given 100% capacity to create anything that we desire. And what is that creative capacity? Now, those of you who've been around for a while, you're going to know what's coming out of my mouth next. And notice the part of us that's going to want to say, I know that. One of the things that I have learned by working with the teachers that I now work with for Mary Morrissey very closely, personally, and intimately over the last 4.5, almost 5 years, is that I have learned to not allow the words, I know that, to come out of my mouth. Because there's nothing like having this little 5'2", 5'3" woman in your face, lovingly, with compassion and a little bit of disgust. I'm going to pick on somebody else. Say, no, you don't know that. Because if you knew this, your life would show it. We know it when our results show it. And we are continually being invited into a more expanded version of our results. Yeah! Isn't that cool? So what is this creative capacity? It's our thinking capacity. That we have unlimited capacity to create anything that we desire. And our creative capacity is our thinking capacity. That which we mentally rehearse and emotionally charge. And I don't understand how this happens. There are a lot smarter people than I am who understand the physics and the philosophy behind this, but I just take what they say because I imagine, wow, what if this really is true? And I'm just going to pretend that this is true, and it's demonstrated in my life that this is true. But that as we mentally rehearse what it is that we would love, and we emotionally charge it, we literally have the capacity to weave it into physical reality because of the invisible substance that's all around us, just waiting for us to give it command. Yeah, we have dominion. We have been given dominion over this invisible substance. It is at our command. It is here waiting for us to direct it. And here's the thing, because we are always thinking, and because we are always mentally rehearsing something, we cannot turn this capacity off. And because we are always emotionally charging something, we are always creating. The question is, and it goes back to what I said at the beginning, that we have unlimited capacity to create anything that we desire. Are we using this power intentionally? Are we intentional with this power? Because if we really understood this, imagine how reverently we would treat this power. Emerson talks about standing guard at the portal of our mind. Yeah. And we would understand to what it is to become an intentional creator. And to be able to do that, remember, go back to what I said in the beginning, that we have unlimited capacity to create anything that we desire. That we want to get very clear around what is it that we really want. What is it that we really want? So we begin to understand that the most reverent, holy, the holiest of all questions, the holiest of prayers that we can pray to the infinite intelligence is, what would I love? What would I love? What would I love to do, be, have, and most importantly, what would I love to give? Because we understand that it is love itself, seeking to expand and express by means of the answer to that question. And it is the answer to that question that grows and expands us. Because here's this remarkable phenomenon that happens the instant you start entertaining something dynamically more expansive than anything you've ever experienced before. There is this gorgeous phenomenon called our paradigm. That the instant you start thinking more expansively, picks its head up and looks around and says, uh-oh, things are getting ready to change. Can y'all relate?
Yeah.
Do y'all have, I don't know what, I mean, I got that voice. Do y'all have that voice? It says, uh-oh, captain's getting ready to turn their ship. It reminds me of hound dogs, you know, again, Tennessee. Some of these houses you drive up and got these old hound dogs sleeping on the porch. And the instant they know that somebody's coming up to the house, they kind of pick their head up. I mean, they are like logged asleep. I got a hound. And she picks her head up. And they start sniffing. Okay, something's happening. Something's going on. Your paradigm is a hound dog. But it's not a cute, mine's a cute hound dog. This is not a cute hound dog. It starts sniffing and it smells change. And it's gonna fight like crazy to keep you right where you are. That there is this phenomenon, and I'm mixing metaphors here, but that there is this gravitational pull back to the familiar. Now, a couple of reasons for this. First of all, you right now have an energetic signature. You are literally wired. You are habituated for whatever level of success that you have experienced up until this point. Right? And how many of you have had poured yourself into a project, or poured yourself into an endeavor, or poured yourself into a dream, and you get up to a certain point, and you start getting excited, and it feels like you're making the flip, and things are breaking through, and you have a little bit of success, and without even unwittingly, all of a sudden, you're right back where you were before. Or maybe you made an incremental change. That's that habit of success. That very few people understand that dynamic. The second piece with this is that we as a species have been brilliantly trained to trust the information of our five senses. that when you start entertaining something more expansively, when you have a dream that just scares you and excites you all at the same time, your radar, your hound dog, starts looking out and starts tracking the data, starts gathering the evidence as to why this won't work. You look at your checkbook, you look at your calendar, you look at the opinions of others, you look at your past to see what you've done or you haven't done. All of those are the evidence why it's not even okay for you to really dream about what it is that you want. Here's the thing about that evidence. That evidence is simply an echo of your highest level of awareness up until that point. Your results can't be any different because that's your level of allowance. So what we do is we go back to our best thinking from the past to determine what is going to be possible for us in the future. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Are you guys still with me? Okay, you're quiet. That's good. I'm hoping it's just a sign that it's all really just sinking in. But when you understand, number one, when you give yourself permission to really dream in a big, bold way, and that's what we're going to really get into this afternoon, and you understand that there really is a system to unlock this power in a way that will allow you to just catapult into dynamic results, you become willing to make radical decisions and take radical actions in a way that you never have before, that moves that energy and coalesces into radical results. So, I want to share my story, particularly around making a decision, because this is so key, knowing what it is to really make a decision. And I want you to hear the process. I want you to hear your process in my story. So, first of all, like many of you, I walked into New Thought, fell in love, my life got better, my life got much better, was living a wonderful, good life, pouring myself into a work. You know, I had lots of evidence of it working, but hit a point where it seemed to quit working. That I allowed myself to get in touch with the possibility that up until that point, I really had to let myself think about. And I was pouring myself into my best understanding and my best version of that at the time. And it would get up to a certain point, and I'd start thinking I was breaking through something and experiencing success, and it would kind of hang out for a little bit, and then I'd slide right back down. Go up, go down, go up, and go down. It felt like there was this ceiling. And no matter how hard I worked, no matter how hard I studied, no matter how hard I applied, I just could not get past the ceiling. Can anybody even relate?
Oh, yeah.
And this is what it feels like. You're literally banging your head. I can remember one day in particular just feeling so frustrated because it was an average day. It wasn't a bad day. It was an average day. And I was done with average. I was done with an almost it. Because again, outside looking in, my life looked good. But it was an almost it life. And I reached that point of feeling enough discontent and enough frustration that I was going to do whatever it was going to take. You want to pay attention to those signs and signals, because that's spirit knocking at the door of your heart. And the most dangerous place to be is in an almost it place. Because life is just good enough for it to be acceptable, right? You know you'll make a change when you've hit the bottom. You know you'll make a change when you hit the bottom. It's when you're hanging out right there at the edge. And this is when it gets the loudest. So, I had enough wherewithal to feel the frustration, make the decision, and watch what happens as you make decisions. Found myself a couple of months later sitting in a workshop, very similar to the one that I'm going to be presenting this afternoon, with the woman that now mentors and coaches me, Mary Morrissey. She created a container, which is now what I do for folks, to create a container where you are able to safely really imagine what is it that you would love and to begin to get some clarity. Get introduced to a system that, when understood and applied consistently, will bring that from its invisible form into physical reality. I tasted it. I allowed that part of me that I had really closed off to bubble up and then once again to begin to entertain the possibility. Sought out a conversation with her, asked if she could help, laid out my story. She said, yes, I can help you. Now, here's where the real faith hits the road. Because this is where the transformative piece, this is where the transformation happens. That when you hear an opportunity and the paradigm starts barking and growling and snarling, right? That most people, in fact, Bob Proctor puts it in 97% of the population collapses back because it's just so logical. So Mary offered that she could help me. Remember, pay attention to where your process is in this because the details may be different, but the process is the same for everybody. She tells me that she can help, then she tells me what it's going to cost to work with her for a year. Working with Mary Morrissey is not on the surface, is not a, quote, cheap endeavor. And this was almost 5 years ago. And so I can remember, deer in the headlight looks. It's like, really, this woman's just got to be out of her mind. This is what gets triggered. These are the voices that get triggered. So it's the habit of success. Who do I think I am to invest that kind of money in myself? It's the five senses. Where in the world am I going to generate that kind of money to pay for what seems to be so intangible? How do I know this is going to work, right? There are better uses of that money, as if there's a limit to the amount of money in the universe. And the biggie, what are other people going to think? And particularly, my husband, Michael, who was not there. It's like, oh my God, what about that conversation? Right? The beauty of this, you want those voices to start talking. You want those voices to start talking. If those voices are not talking, you're living in a very small, contained life. And by the way, they're going to talk anyway, because they're going to talk around the terror of the things that you don't want, that you are mentally rehearsing. Right? So you're either choosing to deal with those voices for something that you would love, or you're having to deal with them around the terror that you're rehearsing for things that you don't want, or you're living a very complacent, in between, what I call a purgatory life. Can y'all see this?
Oh, yeah.
So there are the voices. There they're going. And because of the safety of the container and being able to touch my dream enough to hear its call, to hear love's invitation, because that's what your dream is. When you give yourself permission to really dream and listen deeply to love's invitation, you become willing to do things that you've never been willing to do. You become willing to ask the question, if I really believed that this was possible, if I really believe what I've been teaching and what I've been studying for decades now, what's the corresponding action? What's the matching action? The other question that I now work with people to learn how to ask themselves, and this is what we're going to get into this afternoon. So if I really wanted this, so first of all, do I love this? And yeah, I love that idea. So what can I do where I am with what I have? What can I do? What action can I take right now? And so for me, I was able to see down 6 months, a year, 5 years, coming up 5 years with her, with a no, and could see that unless I did something radically different, my life was going to continue the same. It's not just me, but unless all of us choose to do something radically different and continue to make that choice, our life continues to cycle along the same. Then I got a taste of a yes. And this is what it is to make a real decision. In the face of not knowing how, in the face of the conditions that are going to be screaming at you, because by the way, they are going to start screaming. Those dogs are going to wake up. But it's the action of saying yes, making a decision for what you love, that unleashes an energy that up until this point was unavailable to you. You didn't need it. We don't need to have the ideas. We don't need to have the resources. You don't need to know how to do something until you make a decision for it. That's where most people get it backwards. I'll figure it out, then I'll decide. Other way around. It's the other way around. I said yes, got myself into a system, structured support, learned a system with a mentor, consistently and persistently applied it, and as you heard Allie in my bio, you heard the results. That within the last 3 years of really pouring myself into this incarnation of my business, I have impacted and served thousands of people. And my income, as evidenced by the level of impact that I have in the world, has grown 800%. The thing I love about those numbers is that I can see the people's faces, with one of them sitting right here. And this community, by the way, is Allie's choice to grow her level of awareness and consciousness and her awareness of the system has had a direct impact on this community. So this is what's available for all of us. As I said, my story is your story. It's one and the same story. It's how much do you know what it is that you want? How in love with it are you? How willing are you to make a decision for it? And how committed are you to persistent and consistent action? Those are the questions to ask yourself, and that's what we're going to get into much deeper this afternoon. So, here's your homework. Come to the workshop this afternoon. I know some of you think you've got plans. The great thing about being an adult is that we get to change our plans. Let me tell you about a woman in Minneapolis who swore up and down she just could not come that afternoon, that she had things that she had to take care of, and they were important. I looked at her and I asked her, would you love to be there? And she said yes. I said, as you make the decision, the means and the ways to rearrange facts and conditions will come to you, and you will be sourced and resourced. She showed up. She made a decision to stay in a structured support. I'm grateful that decision was with me. And within 5 months, has it been 5 months? I'm trying to think with Nia. 5 months, she has doubled her clientele. She did that within the first month. Now she's increasing that even more. She's been a corporate trainer for years and has had this deep desire to build this other business, and has been treating it like a hobby. She has put a stake, and I am so proud of Nia. She has put a stake in the ground because her business has just escalated, and within the next couple of months, she is leaving her corporate job and stepping full-time into this work that's just like taking on a life of its own. She swore she could not be there that afternoon. Challenge those thoughts that are going to tell you why you cannot do something that you know deep down is yours to do. Whether it's this or something else, that's the process. That's the process. Get involved. You guys have a phenomenal community with phenomenal teachers. Get support, get involved, celebrate your wins along the way as you dedicate yourself to living from the question, what would I love? Here's the thing. As we do this, yes, we get to live richer, more abundant, ongoing, growing, expansive lives. Most importantly, you develop a deep sense of well-being and trust in the nature of the law and your ability to create anything that you desire. All right, everybody, see you this afternoon. God bless.
So I'd like to close with a prayer. Just ground all of that in that. Dare to dream. So I speak in the first person. And I offer this prayer. Infinite love within me. Infinite love within my heart. Within my body. Now expresses this word. I now direct my word and my faith, knowing that there is only one life. There is only one presence, one reality, one happening. And it's going on right now. Right now within me. It It is everything I experience. It is this planet, this cosmos, everything that is unfolding, the nature of things, the Tao. This power is available for me to direct. So I direct this power, this co-creative power, this beautiful creative energy through my words. I use my word to impress into the law my desire. What I know and accept for my life, for all life, is that I am completely supported and supplied, that I have the ability in each and every moment to choose love, to choose life, to choose creativity. And I do this with ease and grace every step on my path. I now accept a fuller, expanded version of me. I give myself full permission to show up as love's presence within every relationship, within my work, within all of my hobbies, all that I do in my home, all of the opportunities that I have to serve. I bring the full measure and expression of love into existence as me. That's why I'm here. That's why life is here. To experience a greater, fuller, more profound expression of love and appreciation and creativity. And for this I say yes, for this I say thank you. So I simply release this prayer. And it never really goes anywhere because it's me, right now. I am love's presence. So I simply let these words go, knowing that they're already so. And so it is.
Thank you for blessing us with your presence today and being a part of the Satya Center. You're invited to join Reverend Ali and Reverend Lyle each Sunday morning at 10 a.m. for your dose of connection, inspiration, and co-creation. The Satya Center is located at 795 24th Street, Ogden, Utah. For directions, a map, and our service times, please see our website, thesatyacenter.org. This program was brought to you by the kind donations from the members of the Satya Center. Thank you.